Welcome back to the Hive Doctor, your beekeeping mentor. It's my job to take the guesswork out of beekeeping for you. What we're going to be talking about in today's video is how to clean up and get ready your unused bee equipment for next spring. So stick with me. Welcome back to the Hive Doctor. So most of the equipment that you see behind me, I've already gone through and mostly cleaned up to get ready for next spring. It still has a lot of stuff I need to do to it actually because I'm changing up my management system. But I was able to find a deep hive body right here with some wax moth in it. And so today in this video, I wanted to go over with you not just how to clean up your equipment for getting it ready for next spring, which you should always do ahead of time and not wait until it's too late. You want to have this equipment ready before you need it, not when you need it, because then you're going to be rushing to get things done and you're going to do a half-assed job, and you don't want to do that in beekeeping ever. So today we're going to not only cover how to clean up the equipment to get it ready, but also what to do about wax moth, how to clean it out, and how to use the hive tool in the right way to do those things to your own advantage. So cleaning your equipment is going to benefit you as a beekeeper. This is winter work for a beekeeper. Getting this stuff cleaned up, scraped free of propolis, even beeswax. One thing you may want to consider when you're cleaning and scraping these edges is doing it on a drop cloth below so that you can catch that beeswax. You can melt that beeswax down after you collect enough and use it for whatever you want. Go online, find out what you can do with beeswax if that interests you. This video is not covering that, but you'll want to get your beekeeping equipment clean and even painted or repainted. For myself, every winter, I put a fresh coat of paint on all of my boxes once they're clean and ready to go. I repaint them so that they look nice, especially because all of my apiary locations are on other people's properties that are nice enough to allow me to have a certain space there, and so I like my stuff to look good. And cleaning your equipment is part of one of the methods of minimal disturbance. So I believe it's the first method, I think, anticipate and prepare. So I'm anticipating splitting my bees, I'm anticipating growing my bees, and in order to do that, I need to have my beekeeping equipment clean and ready to go. I cannot wait until the last minute because I'm going to be hustling and I'm going to do a poor job. So this is why beekeepers get their stuff ready in the wintertime, and I encourage you to do the same. So obviously this is going to be equipment that's not brand new. It's already been on bees, and it's stuff that unfortunately was in some of my dead outs this year, and so I brought it home and stacked it. And so to get started, right here you can already see some wax moth eggs, and this is what their cocoon looks like. It actually adheres to the wood, and when you scrape it off, you'll find where it actually indented into the wood. So they chew into the wood somehow, I guess, to make their cocoons stay. And inside of these cocoons are the developing wax moth. Now, I doubt that these are alive because the way I stuck my equipment outside, it's probably frozen because we've already gotten pretty cold. But they could still be alive in your hives, and I'm going to show you how to scrape that off. Just put something down like this on a surface where you're supporting one end and the other end is supported, but you're going to use the long flat edge of your hive tool to just scrape it down. And this is stuff that you can either throw on the ground or feed to your chickens. Chickens are amazing at eating up the larva and pupa of wax moth, even hive beetle larvae, and it's nutrients for your chickens as well, free food. So now this is clean. I can put it back in the hive. I'm not going to because I've decided to stop using follower boards for other management reasons that I'll go over in a different video. But that's done for now. Now we're going to start looking at the frames inside. Now this frame obviously has not had any beeswax drawn on it, but it still has wax moth eating into the wood. And right here is actually, I'm gonna say, probably the larval stage of a wax moth. And I don't think it's alive, it's not moving at all. But this is stuff you want to get cleaned up. And the bees can clean this up when you put it on them in the spring, but they're such tiny little creatures, it takes a lot of hard work. So any help that we can always give them is going to be a good thing. So scrape off all the cocoon, and under the ear where this rests on the frame rest of the box, you want to get that out. Get the frame looking nice as you can, and then put it back in the box. And then you move on to the next frame and do the same. Now, one thing you may want to consider when you're doing this is as you clean each frame, stack it out. Because more than likely, if you've got a box with wax moth in it, you're gonna have to scrape the inside of the box and clean the wax moth off of it as well. And it's easier to do when the frames are not in it. And in fact, my last follower board right here, it's not coming out very easily, which means there's a lot of wax moth in there. This is gonna look interesting. Oh yeah, that's a lot. So that's what this follower board looks like. I would clean it up, but again, I said I'm not using these anymore. But check out the inside of my box. Wow. So now I'm just going to use, again, the long flat edge of my Hive tool, scraping along. It's easier to scrape with the grain of the wood and get this cleaned up. Once I get all this cleaned up, I'm actually going to show you how to clean up the frame rests, because you want these frame rests to be clean and clear of built up propolis so that your frames fit in this box like new again. And in a second, after I get this cleaned up of the wax moth debris, I'm going to explain that part. All right, so I've gotten all of the cocoon from the wax moth out. And before I go on to explain the frame rests and how to clean those and why, I want to explain that when you do this with your Hive tool, although it is easier using this edge, sometimes you might want to use this edge, especially in the corners of the box, to scrape up. But you may also want to use some gloves, because inside of each of these cocoons, whether the larva of the wax moth is dead or alive, they still have guts. And as you scrape, the guts kind of spray and could get on you. And if you're queasy in that way with bug guts, I recommend gloves, and also to keep your mouth closed. All right, let's move on to the frame rests, how to clean them and why you want to. So not just the frame rest, but you'll want to clean the edge of the entire box, and that's where this hook end comes in most handy. So holding your Hive box still with one hand, just scrape and get that nice, even, flat edge again, free from all the buildup propolis that was there before. The bees put that there when there was another box sitting on top of this one, just to kind of fill in the gaps and glue things together. That's what they do. But not only do they do it on these side edges, but they do it on the frame rests. So this thin edge, you'll want to clean up. And then the frame rest itself inside, you'll want to clean up as well. So take your hooked end of the Hive tool, go to the other side and start drawing towards you. And then turn it and do the upper edge. And sometimes if you've got an especially stubborn piece of propolis, you can use this easily or carefully. The thing you want to be careful of to not do is to gouge your box to where you're starting to dig into the wood. You only want to keep the Hive tool at an angle to where it's scraping off the propolis and nothing more. And only practice is going to get you to the point where you can learn that. All right, now the reason you want these edges clear is because when you go to put one of your frames back in, or all the frames back into your box, the clean end of the ear of your frame needs to be able to have free space here. If this is built out with propolis and the other end of the box is built out with propolis, then this frame has to go over the propolis, which means that the box ends are going to start slowly curving out as you force frames into the box, and it will pull the nails or screws or whatever out, and the end of the box will start to splay out, and you don't want that. So you need this clean edge for this hive frame or deep hive body frame, even honey super frames, to fit down in cleanly, simple, and nice. One more thought before we go today is storing your unused beekeeping equipment. Where do you put it? What do you do with it? So I don't have a shed to put this stuff yet. One day I will. Ideally, I would stack all this equipment out of the elements, so it will make it last longer. It's not going to be exposed to the rain. But stacking it outside can be a very good thing, especially if you stagger stack. In other words, you stack one box like this and the other box like this to allow that cold air to get in between all these frames in all the boxes, because that's what's going to keep the wax moth out. Wax moth cannot survive freezing cold temperatures. And so that's just one defense that you have against wax moth coming in and ruining your honeycomb that the bees have already drawn out on frames. Now this box may have had honeycomb on here, I don't remember, and the wax moth just ate it up. I mean, they will eat it to nothing. What you will find when you open a box like this is it looks like a bunch of cobwebs, spider webs, and dust as a result of eating that wax. It's just the leftover, which in case you just peel it off and throw it away. Also a good advantage to using plastic inserts, because even once the bees, or excuse me, once the wax moths have destroyed all that comb, although that really sucks, I at least have a foundation for my bees to start over from instead of an empty frame. So that's how I maintain and keep my equipment during the wintertime. I'll show you a painting video later. It's very important that you know what parts of the beekeeping equipment to paint and which parts that you definitely do not want to paint. So stick around and I'll see you in the next video. As always, thank you for watching. To my apprentices, don't forget to drop me one of these. Check the description and the links below for the tools and equipment and gear that I use. And don't forget to subscribe.